two items on the agenda, but I suppose they have been taken care of, so we'll go right into our presentation. Councilman
I have
London.
one.
Sorry?
The three items, one of them is the whole one.
Yeah.
Oh, this work
This
session.
work session, yeah. So, Councilman London, you want to go ahead and present our guest that we have here with us today?
Just a few seconds. About 20 years is the history. 20 years, actually about 30 years I've been living in Irondale, coming back and forth to Irondale since 1984. And when I first started coming here, I noticed that we've never had a recreation center for our kids. I don't know why, I don't understand it. So for the past 20 years since I've moved back to Irondale, my goal has been trying to get a recreation facility for our people here in Irondale, not just the youth, but everybody. It's something that we can be proud of, something that we can call home. I went to the training in Montgomery we had, in Montgomery down there, and one of the things they said, if you're going to do anything, try to do something downtown. But when I heard those words, boom, I have been looking for places around the city around there to put this facility. And when they said that, Ruffin Park jumped out at me. So what I did, I got in contact with two guys that were highly recommended, a friend of mine, Mr. and Mr. Williams, Charles Williams, senior, second, and we got in contact, and they sat down and talked with us. And what they decided to do, pro bono, without charging anything, they said, let us help you. And they came up with something. I'm gonna tell you, when I first saw it, the chill just went all the way down from head to toe. When they had it, they're gonna come up and present this presentation. I'm gonna tell you what, if this is something Irondale can't get behind, then I'm moving. I'm gonna run my council and I'm gonna move. That's the promise. If this is something that the senior citizen, and you and I talk, senior citizen can use, youth can use, every citizen in Irondale is going to be something they're going to be proud of. And what this is going to do, I think, is going to jumpstart downtown. Everybody. This is fantastic. But Mr. Williams, I'm going to let you have Mr. Williams come up and have your way. Thanks for coming.
Well, I'm Charles Williams Sr. It's probably obvious. This is Charles II. We're both architects. We have a firm, Charles Williams.
Come on this side so you can see
we're currently doing a project for the city of Vesta. It's a recreation facility. In fact, we're well into the design. We'll be through with those documents at the end of August. We expect to have a contractor involved in December. So our brand, we're rec center minded, and Charles has been involved in that. And I'm going to let him do most of the talking. He's put this together for you guys, and we hope you'll like it.
Good afternoon. I'm Charles Williams as well. Thanks for having us. We're going to keep this pretty brief. I actually played at the baseball at this park, Ruffin Park. Just to get you situated, north is straight up. This is more of a vicinity map here. The city council, we are meeting right here in this area, and that's Ruffin Park there. I'm pretty sure all of you know how to get there. I will go into just a few things. This is a close-up of the park facility itself. Currently, there are 7 parks there, or 7 baseball fields. There's a large high school field. There's t-ball fields, softball fields, 7 through 8, 11 and 12 fields, and things of that nature. Batting cages here. River runs. It's not a river, it's a creek that we used to play on when I was growing up down there. And then this field was actually built last. It wasn't there when I was playing there, but I'm pretty sure it gets a lot of use. I go by there from time to time. What we were going to propose was a recreation center as well as some ball fields. and a football field that can be used simultaneously. So as I said before, currently 7 fields. We are proposing that you take some of those fields away. And I'll zoom in on here. I'll be zooming in and out just so you guys can see a little bit better. You'll keep this last field that was cut to the side of the hill. There's a large regulation high school baseball field now. It's a combination field with a football field going across it, which is seen pretty regularly now because the 2 seasons rarely hit at the same time. You'll have your full baseball field, which is regulation baseball during baseball season. Once baseball season is over, you can bring out your fences, and then you'll have bleachers here and here. 2 end zones will stretch across there, and you can play football just as you would on any normal field. Your softball field, a regulation softball field, would sit over here. You will have a splash pad plaza with a tot lot and some concession areas. And this is something that we're seeing done a lot of places. A lot of people see that going for the splash pads. We're putting a splash pad in at our Best Rec Center. I believe there's a splash pad that's getting built at Leeds right now.
It's done.
It's done.
Oh, it's
And
done. Yeah, there is already in operation.
yeah, and there's one up in Trustful, which is not Trustful, but
Asheville has been.
Asheville, yeah. So they're in high demand. You pretty much can't do anything without putting a splash pad in your area now. Next to that, we'll have some playgrounds. And all of this is on a nice plaza that lines up directly with the recreation center. And I'll get into the recreation center shortly, but the recreation center has 2 entries. If you're familiar with that site, this area here is about 15 feet higher than this area here. There's a slope that comes right off of that mountain. This whole thing pretty much sits in a valley. That's probably why they cut it like that. It starts to go back up here. This is pretty much flat, but all around these 3 sides it goes up. So you have a valley. So it created a unique opportunity here where you can have an entry in at one level from this top and another level, the ground level, I guess we'll say, you can have another entry. So it does some dualities. It's pretty interesting, but we'll go forward on that.
Before you move on, I got a couple of questions to ask. You're moving 3 fields. One of them T-ball field, one at intermediate, first, second grades, and then the girls softball field. How do you propose to allow for those children to play out there?
I can answer them for you. These fields, we can make either one. We can make that baseball, make that softball. But what we have, we can put petition, portable fences in these fields to play T-ball and 7-8, they have 7-8 teams or whatever. But there's portable fences that we can put out here to play those sports, those sports.
Okay.
And the reason we say put softball here, because softball doesn't require a mound. Baseball does, so if you keep the mounds on these fields here, and softball and T-ball don't require a mound also, so you can make T-balls on this field.
Intermediate, just first and second graders, they play on that field too?
They'll play on this field right here, first and second.
And guys, feel free to stop me anytime.
I'd like to ask a question. And I know we're probably going to get to this, but the rec center, what's the capacity of this rec center that you're proposing?
The rec center here is about 47,000 square feet, and we worked backwards from a budget number of about $10 million. And that's how we got the 47,000 square feet, along with everything else that you see on this site, including contingencies, construction costs, any kind of fees, any kind of, anything that, and we've got a list of that. That'll go.
I guess I did make myself clear. The human capacity.
The human capacity. That varies because there are certain elements in the rec center. I'd have to add it all up, but I can walk you through how many people can fit in each space. So that's an overlay of it, and if you blow off everything else, basically looks like this, all cleaned up, all new parking. This drive is new. This field is your existing field, but everything that you see that we've touched on this site, is about a 13-acre site, is refurbished or completely new. So it'll look like a completely new.
Is this the 16th Street side?
This is,
Or Park Street or Park Avenue? or
this
where?
is 16th Street
Yeah.
right here.
Okay, okay.
And that comes back to that intersection that goes underneath that bridge as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So that's where you are. But that's what it looks like with everything else off, but it'll pretty much look the same as it did before. Okay, this goes into the rec center. If you saw how the rec center was shaped, this is your main entry point on the first floor. So let's go to that. Just programmatically, you have an entry lobby here, where you'll have a control point with your receptionist. The vestibule is an airlock, so once you open the doors, you don't lose all the heating and cooling that you paid so much for. There's a receptionist. Coming off this reception area and lobby is your administrative area. There will be a director for this facility. It's large enough that it kind of warrants that. There's a workroom, and then there's a conference room. Backing up a little bit, once you go down this corridor of the zone, you have a large fitness area. All this is open, by the way. It's just a change in flooring material, but you can actually see all throughout that. There's some weight equipment, whatever you like to have. This is a pretty large space. In fact, it's 5,000 square feet, just over 5,000 square feet here. So that's a pretty large space. This concession area will facilitate, and guys, stop me if I'm zooming in and out too quickly. This concession area will facilitate the gymnasium. Now, the gymnasium is the largest item, as you can tell, in this whole iteration. It's about just over 14,000 square feet. And what it consists of is two 84-foot basketball courts, which is a high school regulation, which run north and south. And then there's one larger 94-foot court, which is pretty much college regulation. So if anyone had any kind of tournaments or anything like that, you would have this to play on. In the gymnasium as well are volleyball courts. You just don't see the striping, but it's for volleyball and basketball as well. So anything that you want to play in this court, there will be bleachers, telescoping bleachers that came from the side that you'll be able to view as well. But you'll have this concession area, which was hinted to us and informed that, hey, if we're doing all these athletics in here, the tournaments and things like that, people might want to eat something. You're not going to have a full kitchen, obviously, because that's just cost prohibitive, but there'll be a warming kitchen. You can have some microwaves, counters, refrigerators, things like that of that nature. So we talked about the fitness area. We talked about the gymnasium. There is locker rooms, bathrooms and locker rooms. Once you go down this corridor, after you've checked in, obviously, you can come down this corridor. There's a women's locker room with lockers, showers, bathrooms. There's a men's locker room with lockers, showers, bathrooms. These locker rooms lead out to the lap pool that you see here. That's about 6,000 square feet. It's not only a lap pool, it has the lap lanes, 4 lap lanes, but there's also this large double loop slide that has continual water running down it. We've seen that this really is attractive to younger people, children of that nature. This will be your zero entry, and by zero entry I mean everything in this facility has to be ADA compliant. It's just a federal guideline now. There's no way around it. So zero entry allows someone in a wheelchair, a wheelchair that's provided to them. It's a specialized wheelchair, but it allows them in a wheelchair to roll into the pool, just like it says, like the term says, zero entry, on an ADA compliant ramp that gets you down into the pool. So now you're in the pool just like everyone else. There's no need for a lift or anything like that. I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but it's a large machine, and it's kind of awkward to move around, and it just takes up space. So this does away with that. So you'll have everything that's ADA compliant with this. Your pool office, which is needed for the facility, and your pool equipment room, which is something we learned about in this last project, which needs to be pretty large because it handles all your filtration of the water, all your evacuation of chlorine, everything like that. So that's all handled in this pool equipment room. And you'll have ample storage here for the gymnasium, for the fitness areas, and for everything else that you need on the ground level.
How many people are taking staff this facility?
Right now, you have a pool office, obviously, well, not obviously, but you're gonna need a full-time lifeguard. Whenever you have a pool, whenever the pool is open, you have to have a lifeguard in there at all times. So there's gonna be a full-time lifeguard, a director, and probably one other person, so about three at the least.
3 full-time people.
3 full-time.
And your pool director could be lifeguard also.
Yeah. But yeah, you would have either a director, a pool director, and one other person. So it had to be at least three full-time.
Could they be volunteers or?
They could be volunteers, and what we've seen with lifeguards is lifeguards about 16 years old, you can be a lifeguard. I believe 14 can be lifeguards now. So you'll have youth that are lifeguards. You see that at a lot of pools around. So they don't have to be the high dollar seasoned lifeguard. Now, obviously, the receptionist can be someone that's volunteer, or the director themselves, if they have that one other person. That's what I was alluding to. That one other person can act as a receptionist or something like that. But when you talk about staffing for a facility like this, you're talking about the maintenance, the janitorial staff, cleaning, all types of things like that. So there will have to be some additional headcount that comes on. But again, some of these things can be worked out in various ways. So it's not, you don't have to have a staff of 10 or 15 people full-time working on this thing. About 3 full-time, and with that lifeguard, you can set up the pool actually to hours when the pool's closed completely. If no one's in the pool, you don't have to have a lifeguard there. Of course, it has to be closed. It can't be open to the public or anything like that. So does that get your staffing question? Okay.
And I have one question.
Go ahead.
Getting back to the kitchen, you said it would be not fully equipped, but will it be, are you going to build it to where it will be expandable to maybe at some point in future time, make it a full kitchen?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, when I say a full kitchen, I'm talking about a kitchen that you would see in a school with a
Oh,
hood
yes,
or
no,
something
no,
like that.
yes, no.
Yeah, it's just, it's so expensive. You have to have a full hood.
I don't mean like a lunchroom,
Okay.
I mean just like.
Like the seniors, a commercial kitchen like the seniors.
Yes, like the seniors. Yeah, you just, well equipped with a refrigerator and a stove.
Oh, yeah. Now, when you go to a stove, that's when you have to have a hood.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Sink in it?
It will have a sink, it will have a sink, it will have everything except for a stove. And we try to get around that stove as much as possible because the hood is just
Okay.
so expensive.
No problem. I just was curious.
Microwaves do a lot
A
of
lot of
things
stuff.
nowadays.
And we can have grills outside.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Is the pool inside or outside?
The pool is inside, the pool is inside.
It's a glass, predominantly glass enclosure. You'll see that on the rendering.
We found that doing an interior pool is better than doing a pool inside and outside, because about 9.5 months out of the year, your exterior pool can't be used. It's just sitting there with all water drained out, and it's just a lot of space that you don't have any other use for. And then it has to have a fence around it completely. So a lot of people are going to those splash pads. I believe Leeds was a
It was a pool, we shut it down and made it into a splash pad. And the problem with an outside pool is it is more liability.
Yes.
It's dirtier, it's
Yes.
very hard to keep up. If the city's gonna have a pool, you need an indoor pool.
Yes.
That's the way to do it, I like that pool.
We did that investment. In fact, this part right here was a response to that decision to go away from the outside pool.
Outside pools are a whole lot harder.
They are, I agree.
You can control the access